So a lot of fun news showed up early this morning. A lot of places have been reporting on this. Bloomberg first, Kotaku, GamesIndustry.biz, and even Eurogamer have all been talking about this. So I'd say that it's a pretty credible report. I'll have a link to all of the articles in the description below, as well as the gameplay footage that the channel for that has this gameplay footage up. Support all content creators. But there's a report going around that Xbox is bracing for another round of mass layoffs. Basically, you know, Microsoft for a while has been trying to. I mean, it's not really a secret, just based on a lot of their actions. They've been moving away from their hardware business to invest more into Windows gaming and then bringing a lot of their first party exclusives over to the PS5. But Bloomberg initially reported this, like I said, but they're planning on another big layoff, which it's going to be the fourth one that they've done within the past 18 months or so. And reportedly, it'll happen before the end of the fiscal quarter this month. Managers are expecting substantial cuts across Xbox, though it's nobody knows what teams or studios are going to be hit the hardest, which that that just sucks. I've lost a job before. I'm sure many people watching have lost a job before, or at least know somebody that's lost a job before. It's tough. It's not a good thing to be in, and I wish whoever does get let. And I feel for how scared they have to be. That it could just literally be anybody that gets the axe for this. So whoever it does end up being, I hope they can very quickly bounce back in that situation. And ironically, it's literally right while in the middle of them laying off thousands of people in their sales department, Microsoft anyway. But just the history of all their layoffs. From the back in January of last year, they laid off 2,000 around 2,000 people across Bethesda, the Xbox division, and then Activision Blizzard. And then they closed studios like Arcane Austin, Tango Gameworks, and a few others in May. Then in September, they laid off 650 more people. I mean, like, and then they want to say like, "Oh, don't worry, there were no games we didn't cancel any games during the layoffs." But like, we know Undead Labs was impacted by it. Obviously, any of the studios under their umbrella are going to be impacted with massive layoffs. Anybody in any form of production is going to be impacted with layoffs. This is not like, I don't know who they think they're fooling with this one. Like, but yeah, and of course, like, and this was all in the right when they're doing all right when they're buying out all these studios like Activision Blizzard for $70 billion. Remember Rare? Remember when they bought out Rare and we all thought they were gonna re-release a bunch of stuff or release new stuff, revive that classic studio, and then look what they've done with that. They've squandered it. Like, you just they buy all of these studios, make themselves the biggest publisher in the gaming industry, and then what do they have to show for it? They just lay off a bunch of people, uh, cancel games. Like, what was that one game? It started with like an E or something that they had a trailer out and everything. People were really looking forward to it as an exclusive, and then they canceled it. Wish I could remember the name of it. Or they just moved stuff over to their competition. Yeah. And then, but yeah, Phil Spencer did an attempt. Who, for those that don't know, is the CEO of Microsoft Gaming. He did an attempt to like deflect any blowback for all these cuts by during Summer Game Fest, or like earlier this month. And he's quoted as saying, "Our job inside the company is to run a good business. We're accountable to Microsoft for running a good business, a healthy business that continues to grow at both the top line and the bottom line. That's the kind of foundation for us. And what that does is it allows us to invest in Xbox for our community of players and creators, and that we're doing it. It does mean we have to make trade-offs through the year on things that we're going to invest more in, things that we're not going to invest in as much in, because it is the kind of business we are. Well, I mean, for one, that's just a bunch of corporate PR talk, obviously to try to deflect any blowback. But like, it, we really care about the Xbox community. You know, we care about our players and our customers. Then what your actions say otherwise. You don't. It comes more off that you don't care. You're moving away a lot of your exclusives over to your competition. You know, PC, fine, whatever. It's Microsoft. You made Windows. You own it. It's bound to be expected. You know, Xbox, they have PC, but you're moving stuff like Gears of War over to the PS5. You're not. You're not showing that you care about your first party exclusives. You're either shutting down game studios, or you're heavily delaying what they're trying to work on, or you just cancel their games altogether. You buy out a bunch of studios and you just do little to nothing with them, other than just to say, oh, look at what we're doing. It's just absolutely ridiculous, and I don't know who they think they're fooling to say that, oh yeah, we care, when there's plenty of evidence to the contrary. And this is from like my history with them. Like, so back in high school, I had the Xbox 360, my brother had a PS3. We'd swap back and forth. Most of my buddies in high school played on the Xbox 360. When the One and PS4 came out, brother got a PS4, I got an Xbox One. Most of my buddies still played the Xbox One. Eventually, a lot of us migrated over to the PS4, specifically when I was getting into college. And then I, just stuck around with it more and more. And then, the PS5 hit. And then now I've got the PC and the PS5. So, and of course, I got the Switch and everything like that. Eventually, I hope to get a Switch too. Whenever they finally show up in stock and I don't have to deal with an annoying scalper. But, that's a whole nother thing. But, it's just ridiculous. And then, Sea of Thieves got moved to PS5. Outer Worlds 2 is going to be their first game that costs $80 instead of the $70. God, I really miss when games were $60. But, that was at least tolerable. The $80 price tag is just still kind of... Well, the $70 is still kind of dumb to me, but $80... Oh, my lord. And then, the Series X and Series S spiked up in their price. So, granted, that's because of the tariffs that, Trump put in, which, I mean, I'm not here to get into politics or anything. That's not particularly what the focus of my channel is about, even though really the focus of my channel is just talk about whatever I want to talk about. But, and then, how long until, Game Pass is the only thing I can think of that's left before that needs a price hike. I'm sure, Game Pass Ultimate is currently $20 a month. I'm sure they'll probably try to pull some crap where they raise it to $50. To just try to argue, you don't want to buy these brand new games for $80, just get Game Pass. Game Pass for $50 a month. Come on, guys, you can do it. Like, I don't know. If they increase that, I'm sure they're going to lose a lot of faith with a lot of people. And obviously they're going to lose subscribers to Game Pass. But, if they want to keep doing this, then that's fine. Sony and Nintendo, I'm sure, would be more than happy to keep lining their pockets with wins on that one. But, and even then, Sony's already been talking about the PlayStation 6. So, and, obviously Nintendo, the Switch 2 just came out. So it's like, what? Or I don't understand what Microsoft is trying to do here, and frankly it's kind of annoying. But anyways, guys, that's all I got for you today. Like I said, I hope you have a wonderful day or night wherever you're at. I really hope anybody that does get the layoffs manages to bounce back okay. I hope they're managed to pull through. I feel sorry for whoever does get laid off, and yeah, hopefully they can all bounce back from it. But in the meantime, thank you all for watching. Bye bye.